recording. Go.
Okay, so don't even laugh. Don't even laugh. A tiny bit. Don't laugh a little bit. Don't laugh or at all. Don't laugh because I am in a different country. You see, it's across the sea, and it's in New York. It's called Portugal. And today I'm in a park, national park. It's called the national park, and there is a castle in it. It's called Sintra. What is this called again? National park.
This is the Palacio de Pena.
Palacio de Pena. It's a national park in another country. Now you might not think that's a thing. Well, it's not a national park, so it's a national park. Now you see, there actually are national parks in different countries. Of course there are. But why wouldn't there be any?
Straight in.
Well, doesn't this look like a national park here?
You want to?
No. Good shopping, big forest, hiking trails.
Hey, make sure you.
But no one knows exactly where he came from.
Well, actually, I'm going to be taking a tour. But the thing is about this castle is that it is covered with tons of paint.
5 under 10?
Yeah, a ton of paint. Now that place, of course there are hiking trails. Do you even think that's a castle? The truth is, it actually is a castle. It's really weird to be a castle, but it's a castle. The watchtower is like the castles, and of course it's old. All castles are old. You have to, actually has to build to really be called a real castle. Of course, there's designs. There's designs on Knights of Armor. Oh, it's not that old. Yeah, it's really not that old. This is pretty old. It's really not that old, but it's still called a castle. Here's good view. Let's go.
It's okay. He's way above.
Exactly shaped like this reference to the one we have. We have 11 o'clock tick. Ready? So we have 11
This is our General Pizzazo toy. Drawbridge. Take up to the top. We're not hiking up to, we're taking the tour here.
Show the number to the security guard and how you make it you.
This is the key of the iron gate.
We're in that inside. You want to be serious yourself. Plasto. Big bread.
Ruined Plasto 1511. Actually, this is pretty old. Of 2 floors. Patio was colored in the 16th century in Spaniel mountain tiles. On the conversion of the monastery into a palace, the arches were closed off with windows and the coastal galleries began serving as quarters. In the 1930s, these windows were removed. The china cabinet displays 2 silver sets belonging to King Ferdinand II, 19th century, with the king's monogram, one by Vista Algori with a white-green band and another by Piccolman Seville with a blue band. At the center A wing-mostly dinner service held in white precision features royal crest and was commissioned during the reign of Carlos I. Room of the Chamberlain to King Carlos. The Chamberlain or Chamber Boy was a court position held by a member of the nobility in charge with tending the chamber bedroom of the king. The Chamberlain slept in close vicinity to the royal quarters. Little sculpture.
Carving?
Chapter House turned into a coffee room by King Ferdinand II. King Carlos used it as his office in the 1890s and a practice continued by his son Manuel II after 1908. The paintings on the cloth depicting nymphs and satyrs in the park of Pena are by King Carlos. King Carlos' bedroom. The majority of the decorated pieces belonged to this monarch and came from his room in the Palace of the Necessities in Lisbon. In the corner to the right there is a WC. Bathroom. The Palace of Pena was one of the first royal residences fitted with specific facilities for sanitation and designed for personal body hygiene. In the time of King Carlos, the number of these faculties was again increased, as the case with this bathroom.
So you see the toilets back there?
Yeah.
Those wooden things are toilets. You can get the idea.
Original niche of the Monastery of Our Lady of Pena, with walls and vault and structured with small stone shells and Persian fragments, and where a clay sculpture of Saint Jerome was kept. It was later used as a storeroom. Piano Noble. The upper floor of the Monarchy Monastery was originally divided into 14 cells and connected by an interior portal. Ferdinand II had them reconstructed into rooms with vaulted arches for his private quarters that he would later share with his second wife, the Countess of Aiden. And after 1890, this floor was occupied by Queen Amelia until 1910. This was the first palace bathroom and dates to the time of King Ferdinand II. Behind the door at the end is the WC. Bedroom of the secretary. Former the dressing room of the Countess of Aiden in the decades from 1860 to 1890. Simultaneously, this became the bedroom of the Secretary Queen Amelia from the early 1890s to 1910. The wall painting created the illustration of a natural wood finishing with plaster pines and branches on the vaulted arches. Lady in Waiting. This area serves as the wardrobe of the Countess of Aiden. It was later converted into the bedroom of the Lady in Waiting of Queen Amelia. The Queen had various ladies in waiting service who worked in alternation. The vaulted arches display in classical motif in plaster. Bedroom of Ferdinand II, later bedroom of Queen Amelia. The bedroom of Ferdinand II and the Countess of Aiden in the decade between 1860 and 1880. In the early 1890s, the room became the bedroom of Queen Amelia. The decorated finish in neo-Moorish style plaster was attributed to the Domingos Maria. The dressing room of King Ferdinand II in the decades between 1860 and 1880. This was seamlessly converted to become the bathroom of Queen Amelia following the installation of running water in the Palace of Pena in 1895. This also represents the period when the wood finishings, tiles, and British toilet and washing facilities were installed. Dressing room of Queen Amelia. The office of King Ferdinand II in the decades between 1860 1880. On the walls and the ceiling, the plaster emanates wood with star motifs above. Motifs above. The same motifs are also identifiable on the wooden tile footing. Queen Amelia adopted it as her dressing room, moving in the dresser and dressing table meal drawers. 2. Compartment with a twined doorway into the cloister, serving as the antechamber of the private quarters of King Ferdinand and the Countess of Alda. Queen Amelia installed her tea room here, giving its location between her private quarters and her office, where she receives her most intimate visitors. Telephone room, the tea room, and the title of Ferdinand II. During the residence of Carlos and Amelia, this housed the phone cabinet. On display is an original palace switchboard, originally located in the palace's service areas. Sitting room. The room contains the only mural painting with figuration in the entire palace. Regarding the Moorish architecture under Sintra, this was commissioned by Ferdinand II from the master Paolo Pizzini in 1855. The perspectives brings about the illusion of space reaching beyond the physical confines of the room. Green room. This was the first room in the Palace of Pena to receive a mural decoration. Painted the green construction, white dark, which still remains. This was the antechamber to the sitting room. The first busts represent Queen Pauline, Louis of Orleans, Queen of Belgium, Charles Albert, King of Sardinia, and the Allegory of Winter. The Queen's Terrace faces south and is directly accessible from the quarters of Queen Amelia. When Carlos and Amelia resided into the palace, a metallic structure was built to deploy an awning which is still used in the summer months.
This is a sundial, and this cool thing is that they used to have it so at 12 o'clock when the sun shined a certain way, it would actually shoot a little noise out of the cannon at 12 o'clock, which reverberated around the terrace. So, pretty cool sundial here.
The gallery's first room, formerly the chambers of the monastery abbot. This was converted into a gallery between the old and the new palace. Currently, the display demonstrates some of the artistic interest of King Ferdinand II, the antique Portuguese furniture with its curves and corridors, the painting by the contemporary artist, and portrayalized by ceramic painting that he himself practiced. Interior of the Countess of Elda. This room was in the interior of the Countess of Elda. On display here at the marble mutilations that the Countess herself sculpted, represented with the with the profiles of Ferdinand II and Prince Augusto. The smoking room is the first room in the new palace. The ceiling of Islamic influence and reveals a taste for the Moorish artist style. The glass chandelier in the 19th century dates to the time of Ferdinand II and reflects the naturalist taste prevailing in the palace. The original furniture was commissioned by Ferdinand from Casa Barbaros y Costa in 1866. The oak chairs and divans are upholstered and furnished with zinc lined drawers to serve as ashtrays. Great Hall. The Great Hall is the main space for hosting representations, receptions, and entertainment in the palace. At the center was a billiards table installed in 1865. There was also evidence of other games such as draughts and dominoes. The furniture made for this room, including the church bells and the chandelier, was commissioned from the Castle Barbaros y Costa in 1866. The windows feature a composition of glass and stained glass panes approved by King Ferdinand II in 1859. Office of King Manuel II. Originally planned as the apartments for Queen Maria II and King Ferdinand II, the room in this tower were set aside for guests after the death of the Queen. 1853. Later, this room became the office of King Manuel II, Portugal's last king. Bedroom of King Manuel II. The bedroom of King Manuel II is located next to his office. King Manuel already inhabited these quarters as a prince, while his brother Crown Prince Louis Philippe was accommodated in the upper floor. The oval shape of the compartment corresponds to the curve of the exterior centerpiece. Pillars from it and so learned the Princess Amelia by a group of Parisian ladies on her marriage to Prince Carlos of Portugal, 1886. Silver, emerald, wood, jasper, and lapis lazuli. Stag room. The stag room was built as a dining room for the new palace to welcome guests who did not access the private dining room. The decoration in plaster altitudes to hunting motifs, including the stag heads that provide the room's name. The banquets were served on a circular table with an opening running along the central column. Kitchen. The main kitchen in the service of the palace. At the back, there are 3 chimneys interlinking with the wood-fired stoves, of which only 2 survive. At the back, on the right, there was an oven. The copper utensils are marked with the symbol PP, Palace of Pena, and the crowned monogram of King Ferdinand. Now you're gonna get your journal or your notebook, get ready for everything, and write down it in the next page. Today's word of the day is motif. Thank you for watching my videos. Don't forget to subscribe. Visit our online channel. You can buy lots of things on it. Or a journal. You can buy a journal on my online website.